And he said, he asked me, go and see how heavy the deity is. So I went over, and Shem Sundar went over, and I tilted Radharani, and I said, not very heavy. She was heavy, but I said, not very heavy. Shem Sundar had Krishna. Prabhupada said, all right, we'll take them now. He said, pick them up, and then the man said, wait, Swamiji, wait a moment. I think maybe he had an idea of recovering some of the cost. I don't know what he had an idea. He said, wait. And he said, no, there's no problem. It's not heavy. These are American boys. They're very strong. And we carried the deities out, and the man was just protesting, Swamiji, wait 1 minute. And we walked right out to the van and brought Radha Krishna, put them in, and Prabhupada sat down in the seat next to the driver's seat. And he said, I'll take care of the deities. We'll be in touch with you. And the man just, the whole family was out there, and they were just like this. And Prabhupada said, okay, let's drive. So we drove off, and when we got around the corner, Prabhupada said, stop the car. And then we stopped the van, and Prabhupada said, take the cloth off the deities. We took the deities, and then Prabhupada just started to offer prayers. There were tears in his eyes, and he started to sing the prayers from Brahma Samhita. And he said, Krishna has now appeared in London.
And Prabhupada, I talked the Pujari of Govindaji's temple, I talked him into giving Prabhupada a house on the temple grounds. So we cleaned this house, and Prabhupada came in, and he was very, very pleased. And one day, while this pandal was going on, I went into Prabhupada. This is a sweet story, because I said, Prabhupada, it's kite flying season. There's kites in the sky. I mean, the sky is just covered with kites. And he said, are you going to go fly kites today? I said, no, I wasn't thinking of it. And he goes, I used to fly kites when I was young with my sister. And he said, and her kite would always fly higher than mine. And he said it would make me so angry because my sister's kite was always going to fly higher than mine. So he said, one day I decided I would cheat. And I got up on the roof and I started flying my kite from there. So my kite was flying higher than my sister's, Pishima. And then he says, but then she started chanting, Govinda, Govinda, help me. And her kite flew higher than mine. He said, so even in our childhood, we were always remembering Krishna. It was very sweet. Then he said, so you go fly kites today.
Pishima was adored and even worshipped, especially by the lady devotees. One time we were going in procession from Calcutta to Mayapur, and Pishima was in one of the rear cars. And then she got out, and all the women rushed there, and they were doing. And Prabhupada said, "What are they doing?" I said, "Well, Srila Prabhupada, they have respect for her, as they do, in a way, for you." He said, "Why? What is that? What has she ever done? She's just an old lady. What has she ever done?"
And when he first arrived, I showed him the flyers that I had made up for the Pandal ceremony. And it said, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami is going to be at so-and-so Mandir Govinda, because the Pandal itself was behind Govindaji's temple, and in the back of the temple in an open lot area. And it said, Bhaktivedanta Swami and his foreign disciples. Prabhupada looked at the foreign disciples. He said, "Why did you say foreign disciples?" I said, "I thought it would be attracting people." And he goes, "No, it should say American and European disciples. That is the attraction." And then he made one of the men redo the whole thing. And then he said, "What can I expect? You're just an unintelligent woman." I walked out. I was crying. I was so upset because I'd worked so hard to put this thing together. Then I found out that Prabhupada said after I left, he said, "I am very pleased with her, but a guru's business is to discipline. If I don't discipline, how will you ever learn?" He said, "Disciple means discipline, so therefore I discipline." He was actually not mad at me. It was very nice.
I had a habit, whenever Prabhupada would tell me something, I would always say, just unconsciously, I know. And one day Prabhupada said, you know, you think you know everything. And I really, it's like that, you think you know everything. Another time, Prabhupada had this system when he did his construction projects in India. 2 signers on every check. Prabhupada was one signer and I was the other. There was only one problem when Prabhupada would travel out of the country. So one day I suggested to Prabhupada, why don't you sign some blank checks? Prabhupada did not like that idea at all. He said, this is my account. Is it all right that I decide how the money will be used? Is that all right with you? You know, I was suggesting to him that we could do different things.
Dropping back a little bit to one of the cities we were in, and I believe it was in Indore. There was an invitation one night from the Indore Lions Club, I believe it was. They had clubs like they have in the West, the Lions Club. These were local politico businessmen, and they invited us to come for a program. Prabhupada didn't want to go do it. So he called me in. He said, I'm not going to go to this one. He said, I do not like these men. He said, they are snakes. You go and give the lecture. I went, oh my gosh, you know. I said, well, what should I tell them, right? He said, just tell them we are spreading their Hindu religion all over the world, so they're obliged to give us a donation. But before you talk, have a big kirtan, right? Have a good kirtan. You lead it, right? And then you speak, right? He said, if you have a big kirtan first, he said, the chanting, he said, it is our mantra for charming snakes. Then they'll be able to listen for a few minutes without arguing and try to get them to agree to give a donation and go. So he said that it is our mantra for charming snakes.